Hi, so I'm here today to talk a little bit about mindset, specifically growth mindset. One of the things we all try and do at School of Hard Knocks is apply a growth mindset to our lives. So growth mindset refers to the way we think about the things we do, the things we want to do, and the things that get in the way. And at the moment, we're all facing challenges that we have never faced before. So growth mindset is going to be really important. So what exactly is growth mindset? Like I said, it's an approach to tackling challenges by changing the way we view them, the way we think about them. So all too often when things get difficult, we give up. We assume that we are not good enough or not capable enough, or that other people are just better placed to deal with these things than we are. And when we find ourselves having those kind of thoughts, we revert back to perhaps old ways that we would have done things that might be easier but aren't necessarily helpful to us in the long run. So it's kind of this fixed mindset that we fall into. I can't now, so I won't ever type thinking. So growth mindset, on the other hand, helps us challenge ourselves when things get difficult. So rather than giving up, growth mindset encourages us to think about how we can get better at the things that we're finding difficult. So we all sometimes have thoughts like, I can't, I won't be able to, I'm rubbish, I always fail. And these type of thoughts really affect our confidence and our motivation to try and persist with new and difficult things. And when we do new and difficult things, if we make mistakes, particularly if we make lots of mistakes in a short period of time, we can fall into traps where those kind of I can't, I always fail thoughts become global. So we believe that they apply to everything. So I can't do anything, I won't ever be able to make anything different because I always fail. Now these are thoughts, these are not realities. So we have the ability to change those, to take control of them and do something about them. So we can choose to have a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. So if we approach things with a growth mindset, we're not considering outcomes as successes or failures, as right or wrong. So it really challenges that I always fail thought, because we're not thinking about success or failure. What we are focused on is learning and development. So we might replace thoughts like I'm no good at this, I can't do it, with I'm not very good at this at the moment, but if I keep practicing I will get better. Or I'm struggling with this, but I can learn if I ask for help. So it's just about getting better rather than being successful. So let's go through some examples. If we think about the thought I can't do this, which is really common when we're trying something new, that thought, if we take a growth mindset approach, might become I can't do this yet, but I can learn how to if I practice. Thoughts like I always fail might become okay, so I've not done well at this before, but I will learn how to do it better next time if I keep practicing. Thoughts like this is too hard, I can't cope, might become I'm finding this difficult, but I can ask someone to help me with it. And thoughts like I'm rubbish might become I'm not very good at this, but I'm quite good at other things, so I can use my other skills to help me work around this. I can adapt. So growth mindset is about reframing the way we think to explore how we can improve, how we can get better, how we can grow as a person. So growth mindset does not mean that we're simply telling ourselves we're great at everything, even if we're not, because nobody is, and that's not believable, even for ourselves. But it does encourage us to recognise our potential for learning so that we can make ourselves better and more effective in our own lives, and more importantly, happier. So growth mindset involves recognising and accepting those tasks that we are finding difficult, or those aspects of our lives that we would like to be different. So those are the the areas in which we want to grow. It also involves recognising our strengths, so our skills, our resources, our characteristics. So ask yourself 3 questions when you start to apply a growth mindset. 1, when have I learned something new before? Now, we have all learned things throughout our lives. We learn to walk and talk and many other things. So if your first kind of thoughts about that question were, I have never learned anything, I can't learn anything, I find learning things really hard, then think harder, because you will have learned something, I'm positive. Second question, when or what are my strengths and skills, and how do they make me better able to learn? So what am I good at? So we all have strengths and skills that are unique to us, but they're not always easy for us to recognise in ourselves. So if this is something that you're struggling with, try asking the people around you, because our strengths and our skills are always obvious to the people around us. So if that's a question that you're not sure of, try asking your friends and family, and I'm sure they'll come up with your skills and your strengths. Third question, what resources do I have? So who can I ask for help? How do I go about learning and getting better? Now, resources can include people or information or any materials that you might have. And again, if you think that you don't have any, think harder, because this counts as a resource and you're here. So you have at least one. Now, when you start to recognise your skills and your strengths and your resources, you can start to draw on them to help you overcome and adapt to difficult circumstances. And like I said, at the moment, we're all going to come across difficult circumstances. And we're going to be unable to do a lot of the things we used to do, and we're going to have to adapt. And if we can do that with a growth mindset, then we're much better able to move forward in the ways that we want to move forward. So I thought I would share with you, as an example, my latest experience of using growth mindset. So I'm a runner, but at the moment I'm injured, so I can't run. Now, I have 2 choices. I can sit at home and not run, which I know is not very good for me, because when I don't exercise, I get miserable. Or I can try some new form of exercise. So I can't do anything with too much impact, hence being injured. So I thought I'd try roller skating. So I bought myself some roller skates and I put them on, and I almost immediately fell over. I failed a lot of times, and it was really difficult, and I made a lot of mistakes in a very, very short period of time. It would have been very easy for me to give up at that point, in which case I would have been back in my first scenario of not being able to exercise and being miserable. So I carried on. I thought about all the times I've been able to learn things before. I thought about what my strengths are. So I am persistent, I am determined, and I have resources. So I know that there are plenty of videos out there that will help me learn the basics of roller skating, like how to start, how to stop. Stopping is essential. So that's what I did. And I put my roller skates on every single day for the last week. And by the end of the week, I had stopped falling over quite so much, and I was able to get a lot further. And I was a lot happier for doing it. So it was really, really difficult and sometimes a little bit embarrassing, but absolutely worth doing. So, key points about growth mindset. Firstly, failure is not constant. So we can all learn and we can all develop and we can all grow. So even if we're not able to do things straight away, that doesn't mean we won't be able to do them eventually, if we put in the effort. Secondly, We all have skills and strengths and resources that we can use to help us. And finally, we have a choice. So our attitude towards our problems and our difficulties is in our hands. So try to recognise if you are falling into those fixed mindset traps of I can't, I won't ever be able to. And challenge yourself to come up with a growth mindset alternative. So find your own version of roller skating. Good luck.